I'm Mary Renee, this is Mary Manifest. Welcome back to another episode of Diary of a Doomscroller. Ding! I think we're on episode 4, which is kind of exciting. It might even be episode 5, which would be sort of a little bit more exciting. We're here, and today we are talking about my feed cleanse, because last episode or 2 episodes ago, I talked about how I escaped the wellness algorithm with marijuana. And I briefly talked about how changing the content of my feed made me feel a lot better about having a med card, and really just allowed me to remove the stigmas that I felt I was sort of placing on myself. Before we get into it though, big shout out to my trainer and my husband, because honestly, seeing how different their feeds were from my feed, is kind of what made me go will I ever see this type of content on my feed? I don't even understand. Their feeds are literally just soccer, facts, geography, basketball. These very simple and hobby-based algorithms. And that was honestly when I was wait, but all of my stuff is just people trying to sell me stuff or give me advice or tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. What do you mean? What do you mean that your feed can be things that you enjoy versus people telling you what to enjoy, So shout out to them, because I don't think I would be here if I hadn't seen their very much boy algorithms. So I want to talk about some of the types of content that I have removed from my feed, and sort of how naturally just getting rid of the stuff that wasn't making me happy started filling in with things that I do actually like. Plot twist, before I even bore you with all of the details about things, the bottom line is that I have moved away from people telling me about myself to content that actually fulfills what I know about myself. Basically, one of the 2 top types of content that were, 1, filling my feed the most, and 2, making me the most unhappy were the self-improvement or wellness content, as well as therapy content. Specifically self-improvement and wellness that is not aligned with introspection. But one of the things that I was noticing with self-improvement type of content, CBT based therapy content, motivational content, wellness content, sort of all of those niches, what I was finding was that self-improvement was never going to be about self-fulfillment. I don't know if I'm actually still looking for self-improvement content. I think I'm looking for self-fulfillment content. And it took me kind of looking at it from this, okay, the self-improvement, it's always going to be self-improvement stuff. It's always going to be, oh, you hate yourself, you could fix yourself. Oh, you don't like this, you could fix this. Oh, you're dissatisfied with this element of your life, you can fix it. Just do this, fix all of your dissatisfactions, but also know that I, as self-improvement, as a tool, will only ever offer you fixes for your dissatisfactions in life. I will never offer you self-fulfillment as a tool, because I'm self-improvement. I will never tell you to stop doing something different. And I think that's really amazing when you actually have things to fix, or you have shifts that you need to make, or you are truly dissatisfied with the type of life that you're living and you're trying to switch things up. But without self-fulfillment, I was constantly feeling like every solution that I was trying, or every fix that I was making, could also always have another fix, centering around trends that are constantly changing and never staying in place and not meant for a long ride. So it was every time I was seeing something that I was oh, maybe that would be helpful, or oh, maybe that is kind of speaking to me, or maybe that resonates with me a little bit. It was okay, well, number 1, this is just a trendy based whatever, and number 2, this trend will be changing so soon that you will need to change what you're doing, even though you just implemented this. That constant cycling of things never being enough, something always needing to change, something always needing to be fixed and different, it's the perfect concoction for burnout. A pure building of self dissatisfaction. And on top of just the self-improvement as a genre, I also found that this allowed a lot of therapy talk to sort of sneak into my feed as well. And so suddenly in one post I was seeing an influencer who had some type of self-improvement whatever, but then I was seeing someone who was either portraying themselves or actually is whatever, a therapist, sharing maybe not the same type of tips, but reinforcing this idea of you need to fix yourself, you need to change yourself. I think something that is helpful but can also feel really dangerous when we're talking about couples therapy, or just really any type of therapy based content, is that while a therapist, or while any person can only talk to you about you, in these CBT based or couples therapy based content, was that because the therapist can't talk about your partner, like only your partner can talk about your partner. A lot of these types of content, or a lot of these content creators, they focus on how like you're wronging your partner. They focus on how, yeah, but is it really them or is it you? And especially with the demographic that I was constantly seeing with these therapeutic skits being primarily white people in heterosexual relationships. Number one, I didn't feel seen. But number two, I felt like a lot of these skits were gently blaming the viewer, who I can only assume, I don't know their analytics, so I would be open to seeing who the analytics are. But as a woman, I was assuming that other women were seeing this type of content where they were gently being blamed or being held accountable for the generalized problems because the therapist can't blame your partner. But on top of that, I felt like these messagings were focusing a lot around gender norms. I felt like there was a lot of giving perceived men the ability to claim incompetence. Yeah, but men aren't socialized to understand these topics, or like men aren't socialized to respond well to these. And it's women that are socialized to this. So it's not that it's a woman's job to fix men, but at the same time, if a man doesn't know what to do and a woman is unwilling to help him what to do, what's kind of the answer? That I just never felt seen. And honestly, I just felt like as a woman, it was always going to continue to be my job to like facilitate the healing. A really good example of this would actually be my first podcast episode. We watched a skit by Relationships with Allie, and I kind of talked about this dynamic. I feel like I did a little bit better of a job like explaining the dynamic that I noticed in that video, so please go check it out if you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? But also, I guess my TLDR would be, I don't fuck with therapy content, because when you have an algorithm that pushes out to women and you continue to utilize gender norms that put women at the bottom, even when you don't mean to, I don't want to listen to it. The next three category of people all sort of go together, and this is home improvement, people who have just insanely different aesthetics than me, and people who link. I'll leave a link below, I'll leave a link below, I'll link it below. Like to know it, link to know it, Amazon link. It all had to go. As a homeowner, I really needed to wake up at one point and get rid of home improvement, because there is a part of life where you start to recognize that you need to be paying your mortgage, not home improvement, okay? The way that an extra mortgage payment a year can change your life, you can't do that when you're buying shit all the time. You can't do that when you won't stop treating your owned home like a rental apartment where the only thing that you need to do is feel inclined to decorate it. I'm not saying that home improvement isn't important. I'm not even saying that my husband and I don't have any type of home improvement goals. What I am saying is there was a point in time where I needed to realize that making cosmetic changes to my home was not going to be the most responsible homeowner thing that I could do, or even really help with my home equity. Instead of like actually taking care of my home and maintaining it, you know, the way that you realize, holy shit, I have to maintain this house as a homeowner, I was just going to Home Goods and Marshalls and TJ Maxx and buying pillows or buying comforters or buying rugs or buying single-use plastic. None of these things were actually making my home better. Nothing was like foundationally changing my house. I was just buying shit, bringing it into my house, and either keeping it or returning it or donating it. And it was just this cycle of buying shit. Again, home improvement and home maintenance are not the same thing, just the same as self-improvement and self-fulfillment are not the same thing. At some point, I think you have to learn to become comfortable with maintenance. It can't always be about improving or making it better, because sometimes it's as good as it gets. Sometimes like this is what it is. Sometimes this is the highest quality that you currently have. You need to learn how to accept this. Constantly trying to change the circumstance that you're in is silly. Yeah, I could try all these different decorations, and I could try all these different themes, and I could do this, and I could do that, and I could buy this, and I could buy that, and I could switch up the room with this, and I could try painting that, and I could try blah, 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 and I could change out my sinks, and I could do all this really fun stuff. Or I can learn how to actually work with the elements of my house and not a house that I'm seeing on my phone, and I can learn how to enhance my home's natural beauty. One of the projects that I did as soon as I deleted home improvement, and I'm honestly so happy with it, for a really long time I thought that I wanted to renovate my kitchen, because renovating your kitchen makes everything so different, so much cheaper and cuter than switching out your entire cabinets or painting your cabinets with like paint and like getting layers and layers of paint. Change out your cabinet handles. Find some really cute, unique cabinet handle or drawer handles or cabinet handles and like switch them out. It literally takes like a minute to do. It's a very inexpensive project if you find knobs on sale or whatever. And it changes out, it makes the home a little bit more unique. It's a different design element to tweak. So instead of painting all my cabinets, which have already been painted before from the previous homeowner, so I don't want to add another fucking huge layer of paint to them so that they can look like these matte, sticky, dense, painted over cabinets, because we all like to pretend that painting over the cabinets enhances the cabinets, but it doesn't. It just makes them look like painted cabinets. I have previously painted cabinets that don't look terrible because I haven't added on to them with really cute accent handles. I have some that look like little geodes. I have one that looks like a little puppy paw. They're all mix and match, and they're really cute. I think they add a little bit of charm to my home. Like, it doesn't always have to be these huge, expensive changes, okay? It can be tiny things that feel good and approachable and reasonable. I obviously don't blame people who rent or people that just have it like that and they're able to afford the more expensive things, or they're able to afford their home improvement being, we built an added bonus room, or, you know, whatever. I have no shade for those. I don't need to be following it. It's not where I'm at. I am at the point where home improvement to me looks like organizing a corner that I'm staring at right now that desperately needs to be done. Doing a nice deep clean, maintaining my yard, maintaining my trees, maintaining the home that I currently have. And last but not least, I've become a lot more politically active. I think that there is something about influencer culture that is very anti-real world, and unfortunately politics is very like reality. We got to talk about the reality of the situation. A good example of how I feel like influencers are just so anti-reality is I see a lot of women making posts, commenting under posts, kikiing under posts about real ID situations, and how a lot of these women are talking about, the joke is like, look at all the things that I'm willing to do except for go apply for my real ID. Real ID is going to disproportionately affect rural citizens who don't have the money or the access to make it to the DMV to switch over their IDs, college students who they don't have to switch out their IDs as long as they're in school, so maybe they never did that and now they don't have a real ID and now they can't vote at the voter polls. Seniors who, again, maybe don't have access to this information, maybe they don't drive, they never thought to renew their license, or they just aren't keeping up with those things, and women who change their last names and don't have the documents to get the real ID that has the updated last name change. And those are serious attacks on a number of different types of individuals. And this can be men or women, okay? Doesn't matter. And so when I see women who are fully aware that that's something that they need to take care of and are choosing to kiki and haha and not do it anyways, it upsets me. It upsets me in a way that I don't want to get into a political tyrant today, but there is a certain subsection of women get seriously enough. They don't take the fact that our rights have been uninstated before, that women before them had to march and had to demand that we be able to participate in the society that we live in. I know that it's more fun to kiki and haha and pretend you're like the 5-year-old girl who your husband takes care of, and you know, you live in a world where you get to go shopping and you get to do all these things, but unfortunately that's not real. Don't participate in your real life where you need to go get your real ID fixed. Go do something else, because that's just more fun and exciting, and like, it doesn't matter. And it does matter. It does matter. I say this lovingly. It does matter, and I want you to be able to vote. So I think this is a really good stopping place. Please, please, please update your real ID. Please, please, please get out to the polls. If you made it this far, thank you so much. You are honestly a baddie. Go ahead and leave me a sparkle emoji in the comments so that we can share the baddie energy together. Check out my audio only podcast, A Spark of Thought. We just talk about whatever comes to mind. I've been Mariah Renee. This is Diary of a Doomscroller. We will hit our screen time in the next one.